I have two bits of news for you. The first is that if you adore watercolor and you love sketchbooks, I have some incredible, exciting news for you. And that is that Etchr are about to release 6 brand new types of sketchbooks, which I am going to be sharing in this video. This is in addition to their newly released Perfect Signature Series sketchbooks. That's the 2023 edition. And many of you will know that the 2021 edition was my absolute favorite, and now I am loving the 2023 version. So in this video, we're going to have a sketchbook session, and I'm just going to share how I tackle that very dreaded first page of any sketchbook. And I'm going to do it not only in the square sketchbook, but also in the panoramic, and use it as an opportunity to just share with you how different medias work in these sketchbooks. And the second bit of news, which I am so happy and so grateful and excited to be sharing, is that I am Etchr's UK ambassador. Honestly, I am so happy and so grateful, not only to Etchr, but also to you. I honestly hope that you don't underestimate the power of your comments and your encouragement in making this possible and making this happen. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. We have such an incredible community, and it's so it's so amazing that I'm going to be working with Etchr as a result of it. So thank you. To celebrate this, I am going to be hosting a giveaway as well as sharing my discount codes down below in the description. So be sure to check that out and take part in the celebration. But honestly, thank you. As you will probably have gathered from my channel, I love the Etchr sketchbooks. And not only that, I've really enjoyed traveling and creating art and urban sketching with Etchr's Carry range. I love their golden watercolors. So I'm really excited to explore that with you in the coming months in the role or in the form of Etchr's ambassador. I have done many surveys, many polls, had many conversations with you about our favorite sketchbooks. So I know that quite a lot of you also love the Etchr sketchbooks and see them as your favorites. So if in the future you are going to buy an Etchr sketchbook or any of the Etchr products, I'd really appreciate it if you used my links, as that makes a massive difference in ensuring that this partnership and this ambassadorship is a success. So thank you in advance. But for now, let's take a closer look at these brand new sketchbooks. I have 4 of them, and as I mentioned, there are 6 new sketchbooks coming soon. There are 2 panoramic format sketchbooks, which are 4 inches by 8 inches. They are 100% cotton, have mixed media paper, 52 pages. The hot press one is 220 GSM, whereas the cold press one is 230 GSM. And these are essentially the everyday sketchbook. So it's the same paper as the ones that we've seen in the landscape everyday sketchbook and the ones that we've seen in the portrait everyday sketchbook, which is one of my go-to sketchbooks. Here I'm showing you a range of different pieces, which include watercolor, gouache, mixed media. These, for example, are entirely watercolor and so much more. And as you can see, it handled it wonderfully. I have created an entire separate video where I highlight all the sketchbooks that I have and talk about the pros and cons in more detail. And I'm smiling because it is a lot of sketchbooks. Think of how many you think it is and then double it. And if you are interested in that video, I'll leave it linked down below for you. The square ones come in 2 sizes. So I have the 6 inch by 6 inch sizes. Again, they come in hot press and cold press, but I have seen on Teo Yi Chi's channel that there's also an 8 inch by 8 inch version. And again, that comes in cold press and in hot press format. They're not out yet, so I can't link them in the description, but once they are out, I will leave a link down below. And if you're interested in the other formats, such as the portrait or the landscape or the accordion sketchbooks, I'll leave them in the description along with the discount codes. So taking a closer look at the square format, you can see that it comes with this sleeve that has more information on it. It has that white cover that we all know from the other everyday sketchbooks, and I have admitted it's still the case that we have a love-hate relationship. And I say that just because it gets so messy. I don't really like the feel of it, and that is one of the reasons that I really enjoy the Signature Series sketchbooks, because they have faux leather covers. However, I think the rationale behind them is that you can customize them, and Creating Cute Art has actually created a video where she highlights how she used different types of materials on the covers to customize them. So that is something that I will leave linked down below in the description in case it's something that you're interested in. At the back, we have a sleeve, and I thought this was so clever. Like, it's so weird the things that we get excited about, but it just has a little piece of paper with the specs of the sketchbooks. And if you're like me and have over 100 sketchbooks, or if you have lots of sketchbooks, irrespective of how many you have, you will understand how easy it is to forget the exact specs, especially as time moves on. So I just thought that this was a super clever thing to do. And usually what I would do is either make a note of it or try and keep the sleeve, but they've just done it for us, which I really like. If you are interested in a video of me customizing this, or you have ideas on how I can customize the cover, what's worked for you, then let me know down below in the description, because I've toyed with the idea of getting faux leather and sticking it on, or trying to paint it, or trying to use gesso or acrylic in order to make it more resistant to just the outside world, especially because I enjoy taking them out and about. So yeah, I'm curious to know your suggestions. The sketchbook is well bound, as we know. This one that I'm flicking through is the hot press, so it's like very smooth paper. The cold press has more tooth than a hot press, but I think less tooth than normal or more standard cold press sketchbook. So it's almost like an in-between hot press and cold press. I think this has pros and cons. One being that if you really like textured paper, then you may not like what they call the cold press. However, if you like using a number of different medias, and you, for example, really like using pencils, but you also want to use watercolor, then you may appreciate the fact that there's less of a tooth on the paper, because that ends up working really nicely for mixed media, which I guess makes sense because it's technically mixed media paper, even though it's 100% cotton. So I don't know if you can see here, I'm just trying to show you the very light texture that you have with the cold press, and the next to no texture that you get with the hot press. The next format that we have is the panoramic view, and this opens wide, like so wide, 16 inches wide, and it is 4 inches tall. Again, like the square format sketchbooks and the other everyday sketchbooks, it has 100% cotton paper inside, mixed media paper. It also has 52 pages. The hot press is 220 GSM and the cold press is 230 GSM. It has that ribbon on the side. It has an envelope at the back. And again, the features that we mentioned in the previous sketchbooks apply. So it has that cotton cover that you can customize, but can also get dirty. So be mindful of that. It also has the good quality paper. It lays flat, solid stitching, so the watercolor doesn't run across the gutter, which is nice and very much appreciated. And it is just wide. I am so curious as to what to create in this sketchbook. I'm not going to lie. Like, I can imagine, in theory, as the name implies, creating something that is panoramic. However, like, this is wide and it's so thin. So I'm really curious to know what kind of art you would create in it. Now, the sketchbooks I've talked about so far are the ones that are to be released. However, Etchr have recently released the 2023 edition of the Signature Series Perfect Sketchbooks. Here I am highlighting the 2021 that I have, that I absolutely love, and the cold press version of this sketchbook is my favorite sketchbook. It has Fabriano Artistico paper that's 300 GSM, so it's thicker than the everyday sketchbooks, and it's just such a good quality sketchbook where you can create finished pieces of art should you wish, and for that reason I absolutely love it. Not only do I enjoy the paper, but also the finishing and the like little touches. So it has deckled edges, it has the Fabriano Artistico watermark, it has a hardback faux leather cover, an envelope at the back, a band to hold it all together. So I can't fault it. It is actually the perfect sketchbook for me. But the only con for me is the price of this sketchbook because it is I guess accordingly priced. It's got really great quality watercolor paper that's 100% cotton, and it is priced as such. So sometimes I feel like I struggle with not wanting to use it unless I know that I'm going to create something really good or something that I'm really going to enjoy. So I end up being too precious with this sketchbook. And as it so happens, I took it with me on holiday and I was trying to be super precious, and then I poured paint water all over it. And that is how I actually started painting in it. But I digress. It is B5 size, which means that it is bigger than A5 or half letter size. And again, that is my preferred size to work with. These sketchbooks are limited edition, and the 2023 limited edition Perfect Sketchbook Signature Series has just been released. The key difference that I can see between the 2021 and the 2023 is that the 2023 version, so the newer version, has less pages. It has 44 pages where it previously had 52. I don't know why that is the case, but I have also noticed that there are less watermarked pages. So the Fabriano Artistico is imprinted in just some of them, whereas before it was a bit more prominent. So I don't know if that's what's led to this change. Irrespective of that, I still absolutely love these sketchbooks. The blue one is the hot press version that has smooth paper, and the brown one is the cold press version, which is my favorite one, and that has cold press paper. I am still quite precious with these sketchbooks, and I definitely see them as a place where I can create closer to finished pieces. And that is why I enjoy using the everyday sketchbook as like an intermediary, somewhere that has good quality 100% cotton watercolor paper, but I can also feel quite free to experiment in. And I must admit, the old me was also too precious about the Etchr everyday sketchbooks, but I've really been inspired by the mightier pencil, who creates beautiful art in her sketchbooks, and I'll leave her linked down below in the description. And she pointed out that it's nice to use supplies that you enjoy using. And that is what we should be doing. And that is what I have been emulating more and more. If you are enjoying this sneak peek into the brand new sketchbooks, then don't forget to hit the like button and to consider subscribing so that you can see more videos like this. And on top of that, it's a great way to support me and the channel. So thank you in advance. Here I am using the square format hot press sketchbook, and I thought that it would be helpful for me to demonstrate how different medias actually lay in the sketchbook. So here, for example, I am using the newer color 2s, and as you can see, depending on how much pressure you're applying, you can either get a really nice smooth blend like the one that you have in the corner on the top left, or you can get something that's a little bit grainier and you can see a bit of the texture of the paper. So here, for example, I'm using the artist pip pens that, again, as you saw, just laid down nice and flat. I am making random scribbles. I am using the artist pip pens to activate the new color 2s. Bet you didn't know you could do that. I have really been enjoying creating mixed media abstract pieces, so I thought that this would be a great opportunity to do that. There is no method in this madness. Like, it's me literally following my curiosities, putting marks down and just seeing what happens and how things react with each other. And then, of course, I also added some watercolors. So here I'm playing with my Roman small colors to just see how they lay down on the paper. As you can see, I was experimenting with lifting in the middle, and that worked well. And here I am applying some acrylic inks just to see, can it really take like lots and lots and lots of water? I already know the answer is yes. But I thought that it would be helpful for me to demonstrate that in this video. This does feel kind of wild for the first page because it could go horribly wrong. However, I find it fun. I enjoy the process, and it also lets me know about how all these different medias are going to work in the sketchbook. So it just breaks the seal and sets the mood for the rest of the sketchbook. The point of this kind of abstract art that I've been creating is to really focus on the process, to just have fun experimenting with different materials, with different color schemes, and not worry about the outcome. If it ends up being nice, then that's a great bonus. But ultimately, if I end up enjoying the process, that is what counts most, which is why if I'm curious about something, I will add it on, or if I want to try and see how two things mix, I will add it on. And again, it's just been a really wonderful practice that I have been enjoying, and I can think of no better way to start this sketchbook because it really does just demonstrate focusing on the process and having fun and treating it as a sketchbook. And as you can see, despite the whole bunch of water that I added to all 4 of those pieces, the paper didn't buckle. Next, I decided to tackle the hot press panoramic sketchbook, and I was really in two minds as to what to create in the sketchbook. I still really wanted to hold on to this idea of just really punching fear in the face and overcoming it, but I didn't want to push it so far that I actually just intimidate myself out of creating something on that very first page. And so I settled on recreating a picture of Budapest. Some of you may know that my sisters very kindly took me there as a surprise birthday gift earlier this year, and I had such a wonderful time, and it just brings back such fond memories. So it felt fitting, given that I feel like this format is ideal or created with urban sketches in mind. But I also decided to embrace a style that's a bit looser, that has watercolor, that doesn't have any inks, which is what I normally would feel comfortable with, so that I can see the progress, and I guess just as a little nod to myself or form of encouragement to keep exploring the different art styles that I'm interested in. A super special thank you to Etchr for gifting me these sketchbooks, as well as for the ambassadorship, and a special thank you to you, the real MVP, who watches, who listens, who leaves comments, and who really makes this whole YouTube journey worth it. If you're still watching, then let me know that you're watching and you're a real MVP by telling me which format you prefer, the panoramic one or the square one. Just in case you missed it, I'm going to link my video that highlights all my sketchbooks, as well as a playlist that has my sketchbook tours, challenges, and more. Good luck on the giveaway and enjoy the discounts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.